G'day, Corbinate 2000 here. Since Borderlands 3 is just around the corner, more and more people have been considering what character and build they're going to do when on their very first playthrough. I myself have already had this figured out since basically the characters were revealed to us. I planned on always playing as Amara and specifically doing melee Amara since she is the designated melee character. So I figured I'd do a video covering like a pre-launch melee Amara build that I would probably go through doing. Do note this build is subject to change since the game's not actually out not out yet. So with that covered, let's get into selecting the skills. Alright, so first off we're going to want to go into Amara's Brawl skill tree. Basically, this is the close quarters combat / melee skill tree. This is the skill tree that I'm going to spend most of my points in. So, first off, we're going to want to grab max out personal space. Personal space basically makes Amara's shots deal bonus damage based on how close she is to her targets. Basically, the closer she is to a target, the more gun damage she does. So if you're back, or like imagine you're all the way back here, you'll get maybe a little bit of bonus damage. But if you're right in someone's face, boom, you do more damage. That's going to be cool, because imagine using a shotgun with that. That would be insane. So we're going to max that out. Definitely going to max that out. You can get up to 36% bonus damage just by shooting someone point blank. That's pretty good, just for basically, and that encourages being up close and personal, which is going to work perfectly since you're going to be punching shit in the face. That only gives us 3, and we need 5 to go down to the next tier, so at this current point in time, I'm going to grab 2 points of clarity. Clarity basically allows Amara to gain constant health regen, and the lower her health, the more powerful the regen. Also, after using an action skill, this bonus is doubled for a few seconds. So basically, at this current point of time, she regens up to 2% of missing health per second, but that doubles to 4% after using an action skill. Pretty decent. The alternative is to just give Amara outright health boost which is basically every rank is 8% health boost up to 40%. Pretty good, but I figured the health regen would be more interesting. Alright, going down to tier 2, we're going to want to grab Samsara, all 3 ranks of Samsara. So once this is maxed out, Amara will deal whenever Amara deals damage to an enemy with her action skill, it adds a stack of Samsara. Each Samsara stack increases gun damage and health regeneration for a few seconds. God, I love English. But yeah, this basically means if you deal damage to enemy with your action skill, you gain better gun damage and health regen for a few seconds. That's pretty good, and that goes along with this skill that we just grabbed. So that's pretty good. Come over to the right though, we get Helping Hands. Max this skill out. Amara, a few seconds after using her action skill, Amara's arms remain active and grants her damage reduction. And at max ranks, we are getting... How much are we getting exactly? We're getting 40% damage reduction for 15 seconds. That's quite a decent amount. That's pretty decent actually, just for using your action skill. 15 seconds, you get... you're taking less damage. That's pretty cool. Alright, now that's covered. Going right down to this to this skill. This is the skill, first major melee skill that we're going to be getting. Find your center. That's the name of the skill. Amara just gains increased melee damage. Additionally, a few seconds after using an action skill, Amara gains increased melee range. This is an interesting skill because not only are you doing your punching harder, specifically 100% harder, so basically you're doubling your melee damage. For 20 seconds after using your action skill, your melee range is almost doubled. So instead of going like that, you're going more like that. You're getting extra reach somehow. That's pretty cool in all honesty, and that will make melee a lot more viable. Plus, it's outright doubling your melee damage. It's pretty cool. Next, we're going to want to grab Mindfulness. Whenever Amara takes damage, she gains a stack of Mindfulness. Each stack of Mindfulness improves shield recharge delay and movement speed, and stacks decay after a few seconds. There's 25 stacks you can get in total. Max this out, and you can get like 4.2% movement speed and minus 23% shield recharge delay per stack. And they last for 5 seconds. Pretty good. The only thing that I'm curious about is the shield recharge delay, and if that actually, and how that will work if Roid shields are a thing in Borderlands 3. Because the thing is, in Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, Roid shields were shields that basically, when they were depleted, you gain bonus melee damage. And generally, with those shields, you want to have a long delay so you can get keep the melee damage for longer. With this skill, that might negate that, but until I actually play the game, I'm not going to know if Roid shields A, actually exist in the game, or B, Roid shields act the same way in this game. Or C, that Roid shields are in the game, but it has a unique shield that has like a super long delay, like, I don't know, like similar to the Love Thumper in Borderlands 2, which had literally had a recharge delay of like over 200 seconds. Basically, over 3 minutes, yeah, your shield was down, but you gained melee damage. So, yeah, I figured this skill would be useful, mostly for the movement speed, because the other skill basically increases your team's movement speed, by about 10% maxed out for about 8 seconds after killing an enemy. Not that much. I think if I either made this movement speed a lot bigger or gave it an extra little feature of some kind, it would make it a lot better. But the fact that it's a team, it helps a team out, it's pretty cool, I guess. Now we're going to want to go back up here and max out Clarity. This is just so I can get down to the next tier, which has a lot of really cool skills. So first off, we've got Jab Cross. Whenever Amara deals melee damage to an enemy, she gains increased action skill damage and increased gun damage for a few seconds. Now the gun damage is only going to get up to about 15% extra once you max out the skill, but your action skill damage will go up to a 75% increase in damage. And that's active for 10 seconds. So basically, you smack someone in the face, for 10 seconds, you're going to have better fucking, yeah, melee. Your action skill's going to do more damage. Pretty cool. Alright, moving on to this skill, we've got Guardian Angel. When Amara enters Fight for Your Life, basically you're downed, she immediately gets back up, gets a second wind, and restores her health and creates an action skill Elemental Nova that may knock back nearby enemies. This skill has a long cooldown. So basically, when you go down, you gain all your health back instead of only gaining back a little sliver of it. You do an Elemental Nova, and yeah, basically it's a free revive. That's really fucking cool. I mean, granted, you can only do this once every 2 minutes, but this could be a lifesaver when you're playing solo. This is a fantastic skill for solo players, like myself. So, last skill, the capstone, is Blitz. It's the melee override skill, and basically, when you're aiming at an enemy in your melee, you dash a short distance forward and perform a special melee strike, dealing elemental melee damage. If Blitz melee attacks kills an enemy, Blitz cooldown is immediately reset. And the cooldown is only 8 seconds, and Blitz does an extra 100% melee damage. Now that is pretty cool, because basically you can just lunge at people, and it does elemental damage. That's pretty cool. Now I'm curious, does Blitz just add to the extra 100% we get from Find Your Center, or does it take Find Your Center and basically make that's your double damage, and that's your normal damage now, and does that double for double damage? Because if that's so, you're going to get some fantastic damage out of that. And I reckon that'd be pretty cool. But the elemental melee damage is in my opinion, a game changer. Because the one thing that Melee always had a struggle with in the previous game was against enemies that had resistances. Like, had weaknesses to like fire or shock or corrosive. It just did normal damage. It didn't actually get a bonus to dealing damage against those enemies. Which is why most people would end up using like elemental guns instead, because you could match that and get better damage. With this is going to change it a lot, because that makes Melee able to do the same thing now. That is going to be fantastic for Melee builds. Anyway, that basically covers this skill tree. Before we go though, the action skill you use is not going to really change. I'd recommend going with either Downfall, one of the three from the Brawl, which is Fracture, Face Slam, or Downfall, Face Slam being the top one. I personally probably will go with Downfall. Downfall basically allows Amara to leap up in the air and shoot an elemental beam below her, and then follows up with a slam. Basically, it's the Face Slam but with an extra laser on it, and at the cost of slightly less slam damage and a longer cooldown rate. I'll take the extra cool laser if it means I get to... I'll take the extra cooldown rate if it means I get to shoot a giant laser before slamming on the ground. That just sounds cool. Alright, going on to the next skill tree, which is the Fist of the Elements. This skill tree we only need to spend a couple points on, mostly for the one of the awesome skills in the second tier. So I'll probably go with what does that say? Sure, I don't even want to pronounce it. Something top left one. Amara's status effects deal increased damage over time and have increased duration. Her action skill status effects deal further increased damage. And that's pretty good. So basically, if you set someone on fire, they're going to be on fire for 2 times longer and take a little bit more damage. And if an action skill sets them on fire or something like that, the effect is even more powerful. And then we're going to want to get to Eliminated Fist. Amara's gains increased melee damage, and her melee damage is converted to an action skill element. The thing about Amara is that her action skill elements are either fire, electric, fire, shock, or corrosive, depending on which one you want to use. And with all the augments and action skills, you can switch out between them on the fly. Meaning you could switch from fire to corrosive to shock to suit the environment. Plus you're getting extra melee damage. And you're getting elemental damage. That's really cool. And that's going to be great against people who say for example you're punching someone, but they're weak to fire. Have this skill and have the fire elemental action, have Amara's action fist do action skill element, I should say, fire. They're going to take bonus damage because they're weak to fire, and that is awesome. Last thing you want to do with this skill tree is grab 4 points of Tempest. Tempest increases hold up. Amara deals increased elemental damage, and shock damage is further increased. So basically, you deal extra elemental damage. Basically, fire, shock, corrosive, cryo, radiation. They're all going to do more damage. But shock gets an extra little bonus damage. So that's pretty cool. So that's pretty nice, and that will also stack really well with the elemental fist damage. And that also works with Blitz. So you can imagine that, basically you can do elemental melee attacks and you're going to do a lot of damage. That's really cool. Alright, on to the last skill tree, which is the Mystical Assault. This one we only really need to get a couple things, and we're also going to get a action skill augment, chevron thing, which is this one. So we're going to go with Do Harm. Killing an enemy grants Amara a stack of rush. Activating her action skill consumes all rush stacks. For every rush stack consumed, Amara's action skill damage is temporarily increased. So at max stacks, we're doing 4.5% extra action skill damage, and times that by 10, you're getting nearly 50% action skill cooldown damage. So basically, kill 10 enemies, you get nearly 50% extra action skill damage. Pretty good. Then we're gonna go over to just grab this life soul sap. Portion of all damage dealt by Amara's action skill is increased to return to her or nearby allies as health. 30% of the skill damage is dealt returns as health. If your action skill damage does a lot of damage and your health is like, and you have like a low health number, you're gonna get back a lot of your health. So definitely grab that. And you also want to grab Restless. You gain increased action skill cooldown rate by up to 25% when you max it out. This is going to be good so you can do your action skill more, heal more, deal more damage, etc, etc. Last point you want to spend is you're going to want to get Ascendant. Or no, I've got 2 points. So second last point I should say is Ascendant. All action skill augments gain increased effect. Basically, all the other ones that mentioned, don't worry about. Soul Sap though, gives an extra 20%, life steal. So basically, instead of 30%, you gain 50%. That's gonna be great. So last point we have active. Alright, I forgot to grab Blitz. Right, fix that. So yeah, that's basically the build. So I'll just quickly scroll through it. So first off, you want to, so in Brawl, you want to get Personal Space, Clarity, Samsara, Helping Hands, Find Your Center, Mindfulness, Jab Cross, Guardian Angel, Blitz, and as all the skills, and your action skill, Downfall, either Downfall, Fracture, or Phase Slam. Whatever takes your fancy. Move over to the Fist of the Elements. You'll want to grab whatever that says, Amishar, or whatever that says. Only 4 points of Tempest. And you'll want to also grab Illuminated Fist. Last but not least, you want to go to Mystical Assault. You want to grab Do Harm, Restless, Soul Sap, and Ascendant. And that basically is the build. That would basically end up being what the build is. Basically, you're going to be up close and personal, having good health regen, getting all your health back from dealing action skill damage. You're going to be punching shit in the face with your elementally charged fists. And yeah, you're just going to be doing a lot of, being up close and personal, dealing nice amount of damage and elemental damage. So that's pretty much the build, and I reckon Amara is going to be a fantastic melee character. With all these things, I think with the use of class mods that either boost melee damage further, or maybe boost elemental damage, or maybe boost both, I think she's going to be an exceptional melee character, or I'm hoping at least. So yeah, that basically wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to keep updated on all my uploads, and tell me in the comments section what character you're going to play as when Borderlands 3 comes out. I know that Flak and Zane are currently the two favourites, and yeah, but I just want to know who are you going to play as? You already know I'm going to be doing Melee Amara, so you already know mine. I'm curious to hear about what you're going to be playing. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.